Hello, it's Eliza Bloom Robinson here on this beautiful, gorgeous day. If you were on a few minutes ago, I started, but my phone rang, and it was the second time it rang, so I decided to grab it. So I apologize for that. And here we are on day number 30. And what I wanted to talk to you about today, what I wanted to bring to you today, what I wanted to offer the world was the idea that I first learned from one of my seminary teachers by the name of Ed Rabel, Reverend Ed Rabel. And he used to say that there are two types of suffering. One is useless and unnecessary, and the other is somewhat necessary. Now, I would argue the point that there is necessary suffering, and we know that there are challenges on the planet. But the idea today, I talked about it actually in my book, the book that came out last summer. It's called Falling into Ease. You can get it on Amazon if you so desire, but there's a chapter on there about useless and unnecessary suffering and how to eliminate that. So when you think about suffering on the planet, and you might think about anything, it can be your own personal health or the health of a loved one. It can be financial. It can be emotional. It can be governmental. It can be political. It can be environmental. It can be anything at all. But when you think about the suffering that happens on the planet, we're going to actually activate that. And then the process that I'm going to offer you today in this healing is like the separation of an egg. So we're going to separate the useless and unnecessary suffering out. So if you have ever cracked an egg and separated the white from the yolk, that's the type of process that we're going to be activating here. And we're just going to we're going to pretend that the white actually is the unnecessary suffering, and we're going to allow that to just simply drop away, like the whites of the egg drop away when you separate that egg. So we just first connect to your own body, to your own being. Connect to the world. I'm outside today. Obviously, I'm on my deck in this gorgeous, absolutely beautiful weather we're having. Connect your feet to the ground, to the earth. And just by connecting your feet to the earth, notice what happens. Notice what you notice. What you might notice is that you become grounded, centered, and anchored. That tension and stress just falls right off your body and is taken by the earth. And we're going to start with the idea of the planet. We're going to put the planet, our world, into the palms of our hands. And just hold it in your hands. You might visualize like a big or little beautiful blue marble. Just holding the planet, holding the world. This in itself is healing. If you just look and gaze and be with the world in the palm of your hands, just be with it with love. Just look at it. Become curious about what you see. You can even pretend to roll it around and see the different bodies of water and the different bodies of continents. Holding the planet Earth, holding our world in the palm of our hands. Just activate it. Be with it with love. Be with it with a healing energy of light. Then we're going to allow the world to transcend into an egg. And we're going to separate, just like we separate an egg, the yolk from the white. We're going to separate the useless and unnecessary suffering that our world experiences from the truth. So crack that egg. and begin to allow the whites to drop between the shells. Send the yolk back and forth from one half of the shell to the other. Let the whites fall out. Let the whites separate from the yolk. As we separate, and thereby eliminate the useless and unnecessary suffering. Feel what's happening energetically. There could be a spaciousness happening. You could feel a separation, maybe from some of the stories or some of the issues, some of the pain that you're experiencing or witnessing on the planet. Just allow it to separate off. The yolk becomes the world. The white becomes the useless and unnecessary suffering. This process can continue. And for most of these, we do ourselves first and then the world. But now we're going to bring the idea of the separation right down into our own being and just feel any useless and unnecessary suffering that you have an attachment to. Feel the attachment loosening. Feel that becoming the whites of an egg, separating it off from the yolk, which is the true essence. It might be helpful to just keep the movement of the separation, feeling the yolk becoming free from the whites, separating, allowing useless and unnecessary suffering to fall right off of our being. Right out of our consciousness, right off of the world. And what is left in the egg is the yolk, the pure center, the core. What is left as we take the analogy into our world is the globe. What is left for ourselves is our true essence. And so we just activate that. We just feel it being surrounded by love, by peace, with a healing energy of light. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Place your hand on your lower belly, the other hand on your heart, as we anchor in, as we integrate the elimination of useless and unnecessary suffering, and we integrate with a greater love, a greater awareness of the healing energy of light. Nice. I'm Eliza Bloom Robinson. 40 days of healing energy for the world. Today was day 30. I have a few openings in my calendar for a free consult if you would like to have a conversation about how this type of energy could serve you and support you in your awakening process. I'd be happy to chat with you. I also have a new journey called Awakening coming up. If you want to chat about that, just schedule a phone call and I will see you around. So much love. Mwah. Namaste.